I'd like to call the Tuesday, March 22nd Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order. It is 9 a.m. on the nose. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Clerk Treasurer Porte.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bless you, Jess. Approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
There's two sets of minutes this time, actually.
And can you adjust?
I would like
motion?
to approve the February 25th and the March 8th board meeting minutes.
Second.
And we'll adjust that, amend that second. New discussion, further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. I do not have any public comment cards. Is there anybody
Nothing.
online?
No.
Would anybody like to speak in the public that has not filled one out? Okay. Clerk Treasurer Parthun, claims approval.
Okay, we have payroll from March 4th in the amount of $451,241.02.
Move we approve the payroll.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
Payroll from March 18th in the amount of $439,379.78.
I move we approve, well, is that the March
18th.
18th payroll?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 3-0.
We have a special pay from March 18th for $444.79.
I move we approve the special pay.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
This had to deal with a workers' comp issue, by the way.
All in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
We have civil city claims in the amount of $244,447.28.
Move we approve the civil city claims.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
We have water claims in the amount of $151,498.18.
I move we approve the water claims.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
And finally, we have sewage claims in the amount of $257,852.17.
Move we approve the sewage claims.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you. We have, next we have vehicle inventory list for the city of LaPorte that we compiled. These are the most up-to-date, this is the most up-to-date vehicle inventory list we have. We'll use this also for the WEX card program, but every year we are required for the Board of Works to approve our vehicle inventory list.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? And I love that the WEX program will be able to dial in on specific automobiles, trucks, and so forth that will, the public will be able to see, as well as we'll be able to track for city use only. Further discussion?
Is it, Courtney, the far right column, is that the mileage on each of them?
That's
or
the plate number.
Plate number, okay.
Some of them don't have plates, we're working on that, or we don't have that information, we're working on that. So we're trying to get as much information as we can on all of them.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Further discussion?
So are the no plates, are they not in use?
No, some of them are just waiting on plates. We've had a lot of, trade-ins, and we've had a lot of, and there's some equipment that's not
a lot of
titled.
plates.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
things
Yeah.
of that nature.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That actually don't need a plate is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of a difference.
Hearing no further discussion, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
We have the 2022 credit card list that is presented to the Board of Works every year as well. So we will ask for approval for the 2022 credit card list.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
If there's a human resources person in the position, will they get a card? Is
They-
it just because
They
there's
will,
not
yep.
somebody right now?
Yes,
Okay.
And
exactly.
we believe we'll have an announcement very soon,
Okay, great.
extremely soon. So,
How do we audit
In
these,
this
like,
meeting
as far as
soon?
actual use?
No.
Is there an audit system on these?
Yes, we're working on the internal controls process with Baker Tilly on that. The Wells Fargo credit cards, I can tell you, have a overall limit citywide of 125,000. So each of the departments and each of the card holders have different card limits. I can give that to you all as well if you need those. We're working on some things there as well. We're working on some credit card policies, and we have a credit card policy in place, but we're working on updating that. And I'm not sure that some of the credit limits that users have are necessary, so we're looking further into that as well.
I would also like to add that it probably should say Chief of Staff has 2 cards, since Ned is in charge of my card, and I only get it when I'm off somewhere and then give it back, so.
Well, you
And
have
hopefully you
2
turn
of
your
them.
receipt in too to her. Good job, Annette.
That's right.
Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0.
If it makes you feel better, Mayor, Joni does that to me as well, so. We also have several conflict of interest forms, so we have, I believe, 4 of them to present today.
And not Tim Frankie.
Not Tim Frankie this time, correct. So we have A.C. Pressler, Wayne Seymour, Laura Cutler, and Thaddeus Cutler that all may have conflicts of interest with the city of LaPorte. So we're asking for approval for these. We will get these filed at the county and then onto the Gateway website for the state of Indiana.
I have a motion to approve.
Can we do them all at once?
Yep.
I make a motion to approve the 4 uniform conflict of interest policies.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
Well, just, are these different than the prior ones? Because there's, some of them, if I recall correctly, some of them will have like the extent of, the potential. And then I think we're missing a page in a couple of these.
What do you think we're missing, Mark? Sorry.
Just a couple of them go page 1 to page 3.
Oh, I'm not sure.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
It's not, is it, you
I
know
have
what?
all of them.
If they're two-sided, so you probably are
Oh,
missing a page.
oh,
right.
Mine was two-sided, so I
Oh,
don't,
that
I
would
can give you
explain
mine, and you can look through page 2. Oh, the photocopy of your packet must not have, sorry about that.
Oh, that, yeah.
It's
that-
Seymour and Pressler that are missing
Well, yeah,
page
so I was looking at
2.
what specific services.
Yeah, they were
so-
double-sided, so mine has the page 2, sorry.
Okay.
Oh, you got the same.
Cutler's had both of them, but Seymour and Pressler didn't. Thank you.
Discussion? Questions? And again, these are available to the public. We try to be, and the clerk treasurer is being very transparent. So anybody that would like to come in, they can come to the clerk treasurer's office
Or it's on the
for
Gateway
review.
website. Thank you.
Or call or email.
They get filed with the state as
They're- yes,
as
they're on the
well.
Gateway
They're
website.
Gateway website.
So I do have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Before we head to department heads, I would like to recognize the Healthcare Foundation of LaPorte and Maria Fruth and Ashley Dickinson, Keith Nichols from Northwest Health with providing these new comfortable seats, if you haven't noticed, from the old boardroom at the old hospital. That they are.
familiar.
Yeah.
Nice.
And they are donating to nonprofits and giving back into the community. And so they found these chairs, and Thanks to Jeff Batchelor and the Street Department for grabbing and going very quickly to make sure that they're here. So I know many of you will miss the seats with the broken armrests and all of that, but thank you to all of the groups that made this happen.
Very nice.
Very nice. I sit up as high as you now, Mayor.
I know, I think actually you're a little higher here. I'm feeling,
Well,
Thought
that's
we
how
had
it
short
should.
chairs by design.
I
so
thought
you-
it should. Yeah,
we'll have to
exactly.
address that in the future.
The
'cause I'm
throne.
I'm feeling somewhat low. All right, department heads, we have Beth West, Transport.
Morning, just a couple updates. As of last night, we have had over 8,000 rides for the quarter so far in 2002. Masks are still required on public transportation, so that includes us. For those who think the mayor has something to do with this, he does not. It's all federal. They should hopefully be making a new decision come next month, so hopefully we'll see what they decide to throw at us again. We're currently working with Jess Bruder and getting some more advertising out to why you should ride transport and the different abilities that you can have and benefits by riding us. We have a new driver that started yesterday, and I have a new dispatcher hopefully starting this week.
Fantastic questions. Keep pushing with gas prices where they are. We're a great option. Craig Phillips, Planning.
Good morning. Working on a few projects, including kicking off the city's downtown parking study. So we'll be working with stakeholders on that very soon, probably right after spring break, kind of working on setting up some meetings there. The same goes with working on the downtown streetscape project for the first block of Monroe north of Lincoln Way, working on kicking off that project now that the contract is signed. Working on a couple of the housing initiatives we've mentioned before with 18th Street and Beechwood Lakes, and preparing for a couple of public offerings that are going to likely be going out late spring. One for Don George Ford again, and one of the housing projects most likely. So that and many other projects, so thanks.
Questions?
Actually, thank you. And I'm sure this probably has come before us prior, but what are you hoping to accomplish with the parking study?
A number. So we're looking at updating our inventory, taking a look at all the different ordinances that we have on the books, seeing if we have conflicting ordinances, ways that we can handle the parking standards better. There might be some duplicative issues with some of the standards. There's definitely some confusion about what you can and can't do in various locations throughout downtown, as well as looking at options for providing more parking. We have a couple of projects that might replace parking in one spot and put it in another, and then also overall enforcement and management of the parking system. So it's a pretty comprehensive project that at the end we'll have a lot of good information that we can use to kind of overhaul our entire parking process.
Thank you.
And Craig, you know how many spots are open along Lincoln Way, and how many times I hear people will not park there because of their fear of the truck traffic? So just another addition of why the corridor is so important, because especially young families don't feel comfortable getting out parallel-wise on Lincoln Way because of the truck traffic barreling down on Lincoln Way. So I'm just another addition for those supporters of the corridor. We're working on it.
Yep. Thanks.
Mark Schreiber, Parks.
Morning. We're officially into spring, so with that, Beechwood Golf Course opened last week. We do have spring rates, $25 weekday, $30 on weekend, and that does include carts, so we encourage people to get out. Memberships are also available, and all that information's available on their website, thebeechwoodgolfcourse.com. We also have our other amenities. The disc golf baskets are in, the pickleball nets and tennis nets are all up, but we do remind everybody that restrooms don't open until April 15th, so we have to wait till we get a little bit better weather, and then it takes a little time to get all the water turned on after we winterized. And we also have sign-up still ongoing for a number of our summer programs, tennis, t-ball, art camp, We did introduce a new nature camp that will be this July. However, it sold out within about 3 days. We filled all the spots. People got pretty excited about that one. So lots coming up, and working on events and everything else for this coming summer.
And great idea, providing free golf from 3 to 5 on opening day. Fantastic job.
Took the talents of our assistant pro to bring that in, but hopefully we'll get underwritten in some way for that loss. So, thank you.
That was pretty, yeah, that was amazing, yeah.
Facebook Live at its best. Jess Bruder, Communications.
Good morning. Like Beth said, I've been working with Transport to try to get some ads and various promos out there. Also been working with Brett Van Versi on events. Speaking of, we announced our first Friday Night Live of the season yesterday. Taco Fest is going to be May 6th. That was a popular one last year. A big thank you to Arnett Construction and Roofing for being the sponsor for that event. If other organizations are interested in supporting or sponsoring future Friday Night Live events, Brett and I are working currently on a more comprehensive plan for event sponsorship, but for now, people can reach out to Brett Van Versi over at the Civic. That's all I got.
Questions? Tim Water?
Thank you and good morning. We finally got the control panel in for our generator, so that's a good thing. We're waiting for Cummins, the manufacturer of the motor, to come and flash it, so it communicates with the motor in the gen set. So we'll be getting rid of the rental generator for the standby at Plant 2 here shortly. Earlier this week, or last week, we got park approval for the second phase of our production wells in Soldier Memorial Park, so we'll be moving forward with that. Crews have been out working ahead of the paving list. Some of the broken valve projects that we've talked about, just lining that up with paving projects, we get in there and get that done before the paving comes through. And just to remind everybody, we're going to be doing our spring flushing April 17th.
And Cummins out of Shelbyville?
Cummins Power.
Yes.
The diesel. Actually, they come from Illinois, somewhere out of Illinois.
But I think their main production is in just south of Indianapolis, and I saw that
Columbus.
they're shut, Columbus, and that they're no longer going to be using any parts that have come from Russia, which we applaud, but that could, I know they were having some production issues.
Yeah, so we've had the control panel on order since October the 1st. We got an ice storm right in that area. That's when we realized that we were having issues with the generator. So we've been renting a generator for about, I think it's $5,000 a month since then, waiting for the part to come in. It was installed late last week, and now it's just a scheduling, getting the Cummins service out there to flash everything so it can all communicate together.
Nick Minnick, Engineering.
We do have a pre-construction meeting for our paving project next Wednesday. The contractor's ready to start concrete work ahead of the paving work. So they think they have about a month of sidewalks and ramps or so, and then they'll start paving hopefully right at the beginning of May. So we're going to start to see a little paving, and that's always a good way to start the year.
And like last year, you did a fantastic job. Can you work with Jess and Jeff to have a paving list that we can, in the same manner, because it was very easy for people to understand? We're not paving the entire city. Remember, we have how much of paving? We've made progress.
We have 113 miles of city streets, and we're able to pave in the past. The most we've been able to pave is about 10% per year. So over the past 6 or 7 years, we've paved over 50% of the city, but we still have a long way to go. So we keep chipping away, and we'll do as much as we have funds available for every single year.
And how much does it cost roughly a lane mile?
So new construction is close to $1 million a lane mile, and we're looking at trying to do more full depth pavements. So we're somewhere between the $100,000 to $200,000 minimum per mile, just doing basic maintenance. So it's getting expensive, but we're getting to that point where we can do full depth pavement again.
But as well as maintaining the good roads. That's what people forget, and they think, hey, we get paving money, we're gonna pave the entire city. We gotta keep the good roads good.
Yeah, a lot of the work that we've done so far has allowed us to get to this point where we can do full depth pavement. A lot of the roads that we did, say, in 2015, 16, with the street department's help in keeping those cracks sealed, and we'll probably look at doing some fog seals in the future. That's what's allowing us to do more of the work on streets that are maybe not the main street anymore, but really need that care, so.
Nick Otis, legal?
Nothing from HR and legal.
Hopefully by the next, or soon, we'll be able to transition HR's portion. Jeff Batchelor, streets, code enforcement?
We've been out filling the potholes, of course. Leaf pickup, we started moving stumps within the last 2 weeks, too. We took about 25 stumps out. That's a process because we're about 400 behind. So, but we are catching up, trying to do what we can. With the filling the potholes, we're actually going back out more with the total patcher and going over with the rubber over the top of it so it seals it better, so it'll last a little bit longer. And then in code, we've got about 800 violations, and then we're going to get the dumpsters out probably in about another week or 2 weeks.
Same locations?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be over at the same 2 spots as it was last year, over behind the street department, behind the fence, and then across from the water department right there.
What are the hours for that?
But for the street department, it's going to be from 7 to 3:30, and then the water department, it'll be out there 24 hours, but that'll be just till Friday, and then it'll come back on Monday.
And we actually have mayors down by Indianapolis calling up to hear more about the dumpster program, so it's catching fire quickly. The potholes, I like that new surface you're putting on that, and Mike, phrase. And potholes are being filled within request right now by 48 hours?
About 48 hours.
That's fantastic. As well as Jeff has been working, and it's not, I say it's not his job, but you've gone above and beyond helping lower income individuals find housing for lower income. And we've been told other agencies say it's not their job. You've kind of taken that on, even though it's not officially your job, you don't turn your back, so thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Paul Breton, Police.
We have 4 officers now in field training. We're waiting for the state to get back to us on the 5th one that will need full training, and the lateral also. We should be getting word back. We had the final pension meeting on him yesterday. We should have that back in the next 2 weeks, get him on the road. Hired a new admin assistant. It's their 2nd day with Courtney. We're excited to have her. And then the big thing that all the rumors about the incident at Tipton and East Lincoln Way, a release has been sent. Jess, you should have it now, approved by the prosecutor. I won't release any of that. Just great work by our afternoon shift, our day shift coming in, and our detectives. They worked like a well-oiled machine. Public was never in danger. They had a person of interest in custody almost immediately.
And can I say, that was great work, quick turnaround. It was a matter of minutes, and our officers deserve backup. So the individuals that say, oh, well, no one's covering this part of the city or that part, when you're dealing with sometimes, as we've talked about, 4 officers, because we have a ton in training, our officers deserve backup, and they're all going to come to that incident yesterday when you have a gun-related issue. We expect our officers to have backup and to be safe, and the public better understand that. And we're going to continue that way. We're not going to put our officers 1 on 4, 1 on 2 without backup. And if the public has an issue with that, call me direct on my cell phone, 363-7293. But I see these people that are saying it, and you know what? Our police deserve, our fire deserve backup on everything they do, and we're a cornerstone here with public safety. So if the public has an issue with it, my cell phone's right here, I'm available.
Well, we're lucky that it was shift change, and that's another plus for the take-home cars. We have officers coming in that responded, and day shift was actually their call, but our afternoon shift was right there because they were coming in. So there were several officers there. That's huge. You can't predict when that's going to happen.
Is that also an example when the emergency response team would be involved? Or
On
not
that,
for
it was so
those?
fluid and fast, it wouldn't have been.
I
It
see.
could have been, had the person of interest got away. I know there were some people unhappy that we had a few accidents going at the same time. They had to wait for officers to respond, but you gotta take care of what's important at that time and secure and make sure everybody's safe.
Thank you.
I think it's a good example of actual defined danger and risk versus the potential in other areas. And obviously, you got to find a balance, but when there's actual, actual and potential for additional danger and risk, that's where our law enforcement has to go.
Right, I'm proud of all of them. They did a great job. And there'll be more released here shortly.
Andy Snyder, Fire?
Just a reminder that our applications are out, so please get the word around. We're off to kind of a slow start. The deadline is April 8th for those to be turned back into Station 1 with the testing on April 16th. And also, we do have our CPR, free CPR out on our Facebook right now. We'll be talking to Jess about putting that out in a press release too, but the schedule is out on Facebook for the rest of the year. So please get the word out about that also.
You don't think you need it till you do.
Exactly.
That's, thank you for doing that. Okay, anybody else? Anybody that does not have business before the Board of Works can adjourn their portion of the meeting here and leave? All right. New business, job description for utilities, customer service representative.
This is just changing a temporary position to a full-time position for utility billing. It's the customer service representative, and also the FLSA status to non-exempt. So no other changes other than that.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second discussion. And I think this is very important, the activity that Courtney's team deals with keeps people busy, and you need full-time.
Keeps everybody busy.
I mean, it's amazing. So, and the drive-through, the public still continues to love the drive-through, so great job. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0. Chief Breton, request for special pay.
A few months ago, I came before you about Officer Tyler Knotts that we took from Gary. I didn't know that I should have been asking for specialist pay at the time. He brought to my attention. I've put before you a letter of all his accomplishments and the time he's put in. I also want to say that he was one that ended a possible foot pursuit yesterday in that incident. He does an outstanding job for us, so I'm asking that we can adjust his pay to specialist since he clearly meets the guidelines.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
What was his 40 time in that, in that foot pursuit?
Not sure on that.
All those in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes 3-0. Clerk Treasurer Parthun, do we want?
Sorry, I have a question. Is this retroactive at all, or what?
He's not
We'll be
asking for
moving
that.
forward.
Okay.
Moving forward, yes.
Moving forward. So do we need to amend that?
No, because I think only if it was retroactive would you need to
Okay.
do that, yeah.
Chief Breton, would you like to lead this with Officer Jakowiak? Or would you like to,
I think he's all ready to go here. He's chomping at the bit.
AJ, come on up.
Good morning. After reviewing the quotes that we received from Star Uniform and Ray O'Haron's, it's our recommendation that we would go with the quote from Star Uniform. We reviewed both quotes, and the one quote from Ray O'Haron's had quite a few errors in it, and they substituted items that we did not request in the quote.
And Ray O'Haron, in fact, I'm sorry to interject, but Ray O'Haron, in fact, did ask to resubmit a new bid after they had already submitted their bid, their sealed quote, so.
Correct. Yeah, so we called, there was some price discrepancies on the Ray O'Haron's quote, so we contacted them to get some further clarification. And some items that they didn't supply were substituted from what we had requested to be quoted. In addition to that, Clerk Treasurer and I had put a 40-mile radius on where they actually have to have a brick and mortar facility so our guys can go and get fitted or pick up equipment as things change, or something comes in that doesn't fit right, we need to get readjusted, an officer can drive there. Their closest facilities in Downers Grove, Illinois, while Star Uniform has a facility in Portage and then a second one in South Bend. So that was in the original quote request, and they opted to still submit a quote. We've been in contact with both companies, but it is our recommendation that we go with Star Uniform.
What was that? I'm sorry, I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation to accept the Star Uniforms quote or bid?
Quote.
Quote,
yes.
Thank you.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
What was the total amount for?
The total from the Star Uniform was $66,006.70 was their initial quote.
And that fulfills most of the wants and desires that you had had on the,
That
I know
fills
that.
most of it, with the exception of some training and like ammunition and stuff that they don't supply.
You meant needs, right? Well, not wants and desires.
Yeah, let me clarify.
It satisfies most of the equipment, the ammunition, some firearm-related items, and training stuff will be separate. Neither of the companies were able to supply that. So there'll still be probably 3 or 4 other vendors that will have to order stuff through that spell like just specific one item stuff that you can only get direct from the manufacturer.
And was this within the budget of what we had hoped for these
We
items?
didn't really have a budget because we didn't know what we were looking at, so that's
That's
why we
less than
wanted to do the.
100,000.
Yeah.
We wanted to do the request for quote, so we did have a public hearing last night for an additional appropriation, and we did ask the council to approve $100,000 for the emergency response team. I mean, these quotes came back, in my opinion, we're in pretty good shape so far.
Yeah, we're well within that, under the $100,000 budget. Some of this stuff's a little challenging to get prices on because they don't advertise, like you can't go on the internet and advertise prices for a lot of this because it is law enforcement only. So the general public doesn't have access to what what a particular vest carrier or some of the items cost, especially with some of the less lethal options. So we were initially, before we got the quote request back, just estimating what items cost because we didn't have access to actual
Gotcha.
costs and stuff like that.
But it's not, if the prices come back better to find things to run it to 100,000, it'll just be less than 100,000.
Correct, yeah, it'll be less than 100,000. We have, I've got a list of everything that we'll need right now, including the Star Uniform quote, and then I've got the training, ammunition, and all that stuff factored out. The only thing that's got a little bit of variation in it is the ammunition right now, just because of the supply and demand that's going on with everything. Ammunition prices are changing almost daily, so until we can actually get an order placed for that, that's kind of a toss-up. It's, changing daily.
It seems like the training would be pretty imperative.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor.
Absolutely, because we expect, we've talked, you heard from Chief, how many high-risk warrants are sitting in the city of LaPorte and the county, and we want to control our own destiny, and
Yes, sir.
we'll be very proactive to keep our residents safe.
Absolutely. We've put quite a bit of effort into reaching out to instructors that are specialized in this type of training. One of the people that we've met with currently trains the Michigan City SWAT team and LaPorte County Emergency Response Team. So we intend to utilize him to train our team. That way, as a county-wide, everybody has fairly similar training, so we can all work together for large-scale operations and stuff like that. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what department or whatever you work for, everybody will be trained the same and be able to work together and, overall work more efficiently as a group to better protect the community.
Is there a written policy then on how and who responds in what situations so that each department or person from a different department is aware of Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Other
So-
than just being trained, you know?
Yes, ma'am. We had a emergency response team policy from years back when we did have an emergency response team. Myself and Sergeant Dyer, along with Chief Breton, are currently in the process of revising the SOP to kind of update it with current trends and stuff. We've looked at some other agencies' policies to make sure that ours is kind of within spec. We're still in the process of developing that policy, though.
And when that's done, we'll send that to Nick to look over before we ever adopt anything.
Gotcha.
Perfect. So I do have a motion.
I just want to state how much work AJ has done on this. It's been,
Sounds like
it's
it.
really unbelievable. In fact, I had to tell him to quit talking to me about it because it was 6 times a day.
It's been a very lengthy process to get all this compiled together. I'll be the first to admit I did not understand how many phone calls and meetings and research and all that stuff was actually going to be the undertaking. I know a lot more about the whole process than I did when I first started 6 months ago. I can definitely tell you that.
But this is also what the young, new officers want to be a part of and that keep them here in the city as well.
Absolutely. So in addition to the safety aspect for the community, it'll also benefit both departments, actually, the fire department and the police department, as far as retention and recruitment of new officers. The ability to have more specialty units is something that keeps the younger guys around, right? They don't want just to be stuck on patrol. They want to have the option to go out and do stuff, receive better training, and have nice, cool equipment. So having the ability to go to like an emergency response team on a part-time basis is stuff that will attract potential new applicants and then help keep the younger applicants that we have. That also piggybacks off for the fire department, as they're gracious enough to supply us one of their EMTs as a tactical medic for somebody that wants to be a firefighter but still wants to have a little bit of that law enforcement background or whatever. It's an easy transition for them, so it'll benefit both departments greatly.
It's funny to hear you talk about it and both of you talk about younger officers.
Hey, I know I'm 7 years total. I feel like I'm an old man around there now. So.
All right.
Your extensive work is really appreciated.
Yes.
Yeah, I appreciate it, sir.
Yeah, thanks for not just
You all, not just,
doing a
yeah.
half
Absolutely,
job.
thank you.
I do have a motion and a second. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Okay, request to waive fees, Fraternal Order of Eagles. Tim Warner.
Yeah, so this is a process that the board can vote to take away the system development fees for non-for-profit organizations. The Eagles is tying in water and sewer. They'll still pay the tap fees, the material costs, anything that the city puts in it will still be covered. Basically, what this vote will do is take away the system development fees for water and sewer. For 'em. It's something that the board has done in the past for non-for-profits, just to help them out. So we were contacted by the Eagles to present it to the Board of Works, so just looking for approval to take away the system development fees for them.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
What is that fee typically? God
So,
bless you, approximately.
I should have brought the ordinance with me so I could speak about wastewater, but the water,
Oh, right, I'm sorry. I put you
on a 5/8 meter, it's $850. So basically what that fee, how we use it, when a new customer comes on board, the system development fee is determined by the meter size, so that's how much water would be allowed to go through that meter. It's just a way for a new customer to kind of catch up from what everybody else is paying all the time for the buildup of the system for that capacity. So the bigger the meter, the larger the system development fee. Goes for larger pumps, oversizing mains, things like that. It goes into a fund for those projects.
Further discussion? I'd also like to state, it's great to see sewer going up Klong Road.
Yes.
As we continue to provide all of our residents the necessary utilities. And when we look at 39 North and addressing the problems of the past and moving forward, having appropriate, safe coverage and infrastructure for those up on 39 North. And again, we're willing to do our part, but we can't do it for non-residents. So I think to provide them infrastructure that'll keep them safe and allow our fire department to keep people safe up there will be fantastic. And again, I don't think it's too much to ask for annexation in exchange for problems that have been ignored for too long, not created by the city.
And to be able to build a system for future growth. You know, that's the big part out there.
Good
You
point.
have to anticipate what's coming next.
But it will not happen without annexation,
That's a fact.
so. So I do have a motion and a second. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Nick Minnick, final pay, Selge Construction.
We have the final pay application for Selge Construction for the Lakeside Sewer Relocation Project, payment in the amount of $98,097.31. I'm not as involved in the day-to-day, but my updates on this project have been that everything is complete and no issues, so I would recommend payment.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Hearing none.
Tim did mention that he wasn't sure we had received as-built. We'll just make sure the clerk treasurer holds the check until we do receive those as-built. But it wouldn't.
Do we need to add that to the motion?
Yes.
So can I have an amended motion?
I don't remember if I made the motion or you.
I think I did.
Coach
So I'll,
correct it, yeah.
I'll
Thank
accept
you.
that amendment or add that amendment.
Second, sorry.
So I do have an amended motion and an amended second. Further discussion?
I just think it's important that we get those as-bills before we re-release a check.
Hearing none, all in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Unfinished business, Nick Minnick, Clear Lake Loop Design.
I brought this to the board last meeting, but we just weren't quite ready to execute. So we have a contract here for the Clear Lake Loop Trail and Truesdale Reconstruction Project. The contract is for $450,000. That's well within the range for this cost of a project. The redevelopment commission previously approved 30% design at $80,000. So we're actually looking for approval at the amount of $370,000. This will complete the design of that project. We plan to bid it at the end of the summer and start construction this fall. Hopefully get a good amount done before the end of the season still. And SEH has done a really great job transitioning from the Heart of LaPorte plan design documents that they helped create to the design of this project.
And Attorney Otis, can we approve this pending council's approval of the
Yep.
additional appropriation?
Yes.
Thank you.
So that's what the motion should be.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve pending city council's approval
Of the,
Second.
of the funding.
of the funding.
Yep.
Excuse me.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
So with anticipated, if that all goes as planned, anticipated completion early 2023 then?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
the goal would be to have it all wrapped up by summer 2023.
Okay.
That's awesome.
This is a
They'll be done in
great
a year
project.
almost.
Thank you to the Healthcare Foundation of LaPorte for their support. Further questions? Hearing none, all in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Any further comments from the public, the board? Do I have a motion to approve?
Adjourn.
To adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-0. We are adjourned.